Hey everybody, Craig Ferguson again. Hey, March 23rd, Monday. God's been dealing with my heart about leadership and government. And so here's the thing that I want you to consider. We're not really sure how long what the government has imposed upon society as far as social distancing and gathering restrictions and so forth. So here's something that you as leaders, I challenge you to put before God. And that is this, that centralized church government, at least in the near term, is not going to be effective. It will be effective in this way. If all you want to do is keep your numbers or reduce the number of those that move away or walk away from your congregational community, then yeah, you can continue to do things as you are. You can go online and you can share and so forth and so on. But if you want to grow, this is really a time for growing. This is a time for passing over and growing and going forward, leaping forward into the things of God. So I want to challenge you that you need to move into a decentralized government. There was a time where Jesus was the living embodiment of God's government in the earth. When he died and he secured our freedom, he released the 12 apostles. Now there were others. There was at least 72 other leaders. So you're looking at 84 leaders. But he released the apostles to be like a delegated and decentralized authority, so that they could spread out among the Jews more effectively. Because keep in mind, they didn't have big cathedrals or big buildings to meet, so they had to meet house to house. So there was a lot of decentralized government going on, and decentralized and delegation are two different things. Okay, I can delegate and still make all the decisions, and just delegate individuals to carry out those decisions. That's good for servants. Okay. For friends and on, at maturity level of friend and beyond, Lord, King, and Son, you have to have both delegation and decentralization. Okay, this is the multiplication tool or method or process. This is really a time for multiplication. And as a leader, as leaders, you need to really consider not just delegation into people that are leaders. Well, let me take a step back. Here's the thing about the thing where delegation is different from decentralization. Again, when you delegate, you can get people that are in the spiritual function of a servant. They do what they are told by you. Okay? You tell them to do this, they go off and do it. They get it done. Okay? And you give them narrow instructions, precision instructions. They go out, they're very task oriented. Okay? When you decentralize, the people who are in the decentralized points of contact or nodes or whatever you wish to call them, they have a multitude of tasks that they now have to do. They cannot wait for you to precisely deal with every task that they must now do. So decentralization means leadership is now handed off into these individuals in particular areas. Okay, so you can't give that necessarily to servants. If your people are good at being servants, they may not have grown to a place where they can be friends and leaders, peers. where they are to be entrusted to handle multiple tasks at one time, and without your precision instructions. Hope you all are getting this. I think as leaders, you all are getting this. Maybe some of you may be a little challenged, maybe a little bit feel insecure because there's been a history. This is what historically, when some things like this happens, there has been where the delegated and the delegated individuals realize that they can't wait on you as an individual to give them how to do everything. And so when they start doing things on their own, there is a conflict between you and them. Why did you do it this way? Why did you do it that way? Well, that doesn't happen. That is not supposed to happen in general in decentralization, or the decentralization of authority. And so you have to be able to, there has to be a relationship between you and that person that is now authorized to do things that you do, that God has given you to do. Well, let me rephrase that. They do things that God has given them to do in line of the assignment that God has given to you. I'm not talking about, quote unquote, your vision. I'm talking about the assignment that God has given you. There's an assignment. And he hasn't just given it to you, but he's giving it to many. And so what people have to be developed into is to be able to take a piece of the assignment and not perceive it as this is now my thing, but this is now it's not even a thing that I'm doing for you, the leader. It's what I'm doing for the assignment that God has given to the area of which you're a part of. You as the senior leader is a part of. Okay? It's like a young adult son. He got his own family now. You don't tell him what to do every day. No, they have to some things they should already know. They should be mature enough to handle the family. And if they don't, then they come to you from time to time for advice. I hope y'all are getting this, especially you spiritual fathers. If you call yourself a spiritual father, you need to really evaluate, or a spiritual mother, you really need to evaluate where your people are. Are they in the servant stage? Do they have the capacity to go beyond simple instructions from you and be able to look out, have a certain area of responsibility that they run, and they're supposed to run it the way that God has designed them, and influenced by their relationship with you, from you. So you all need to check this out. I really believe this is something that God has just pressed on me to put out there. You all need to look at this. You all need to consider. Because if your people are not ready for growth, I don't care how much you talk about growing, you're not going to have a whole lot. Because you have failed to, or you have insufficiently developed your people to be able to handle a responsibility and not just a simple task. You understand? They got to be able to handle a responsibility. And that's going to be a matrix of tasks, series of processes. Okay? And they can't come back to you for every instruction on how to do everything. They have to be able to do things themselves. And so they have to be raising up people. They got to be, and see, it's all about the relationship with God. They got to be in relationship with God so they can hear God, tell God where God tells them to do it this way, do it that way, do it this way. And as they go out and do it, they start training others to hear God and to do the same thing. And then they go out. That's the multiplication. And I'm speaking in general here. I know that there are exceptions. I know y'all can point to, well, what about that group? They grew, and they grew by leaps and bounds, and they got all kinds of people, so forth and so on. Okay, I'm speaking in general. The average congregation in America is not a mega church. It's somewhere around between 25 and maybe 75 members. That's it. And a lot of those average congregations, their leaders were given a word to take the city. And if you're not connecting with others who have the same word, take that same city. If you're not connecting with those who have that same word, even if they are of a different Christian faith than you, like Baptist or Pentecostal or Kojic or whatever, or Lutheran or Presbyterian. You remember, y'all know Pentecostals that y'all came out of the Lutheran church, right? I hope y'all remember that. Okay. All right. So if you're not able to connect with those other leaders, all of you will not take the city. You need to hear that. You need to face that reality. All of you will not take the city. But together, you can take the city. Each one doing what God has given them in their assignment, with the overall expectation is that the body of Christ will take the city. I hope y'all get this. I hope y'all get this. I hope y'all get this. I'm going to sign off now. I want y'all to pray about this, think about this, see how this fits within what God is dealing with you about, and go from there, all right? All right? God bless you. Richly bless you. Again, anything that you feel that Craig is just crazy. Man, dude's been away from home too long. Or Craig just ain't got it. I don't know where he getting this stuff from. Maybe he done lost his salvation. Whatever. Take it before God. Okay? Take it before God. If you totally believe what I'm saying, that doesn't free you from the obligation, from your responsibility of taking it before God. You got to take it before God. Find out what he's saying about it, how it relates to you, how you are to connect with that. All right? All right? Well, we still have the freedom to drive around out here in Texas. So until again, God bless you. Be richly blessed in him. All right.